The Russian-Ukraine war will mark its 1-year anniversary mark tomorrow, and the only visible direction in the conflict that has impacted the world is more aggression and divides. Well, President Biden, he visited Kyiv and assured continuous Western support to Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin vowed victory. Well, experts say Russia and Ukraine are preparing for offensives that could potentially turn the war uglier. In recent weeks, Russia has intensified its push to fully capture Ukraine's eastern region of Donbass. And to counter this, the Ukrainian armed forces are now waiting for battle tanks and other new weapons pledged by the West.
Да, есть 5.
Постріл!
What we're already, seeing here is that the Russians are digging in for the long haul. They have no intention of losing, depending on what their definition of, winning is at this particular stage. And Ukraine cannot afford to have Russia basically annex its territory.
Meanwhile, Putin has declared that Russia will continue to pay attention to increase its nuclear forces. He also added that they will begin mass deliveries of the Zircon sea-launched hypersonic missiles.
We will continue to inundate our forces with advanced technology. There are new strike systems, intelligence gathering and communications equipment, drones and artillery systems. Our industry is now rapidly boosting production of all types of conventional weapons.
The UN General Assembly convened an emergency session on Wednesday in an effort to adopt a resolution urging Russia to halt its offensive in Ukraine. The high-level meeting, it comes before the first anniversary of the Russian invasion of its neighbouring country. Speaking at the session, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres stressed that the war is having a dramatic humanitarian and human rights consequences that extend beyond Ukraine's borders. The General Assembly of the United Nations is set to adopt a resolution stressing the need to reach as soon as possible a comprehensive, just and lasting peace in line with the founding UN Charter. And Ukraine has reached out to India for support ahead of the vote on Ukraine's peace resolution.
Да, есть 5.
Our correspondent Anas Malik is in Ukraine for us following this, leading up to the anniversary tomorrow. Anas, no sign of a resolution yet.
Katie, I'm currently in the city of Mykolaiv as I talk to you, as we're talking, and this is one of the cities that has seen literally death and destructions. Over 128 civilian lives lost. And the street that I'm standing, Central Street, the videos that had emerged in the early days of the conflict started in the early days of the war. I'll just get aside and I'll explain it to you. This is the Central Street, and this is where we saw literally tanks ranging across the city. There was a battle, a tank battle across in these very streets between the Ukrainian side and the Russian side. And after about 5 weeks or 6 weeks, the Russian attack was repulsed. For one very reason, the Russian side wanted to get a grip of this very city because it has a very strategic importance by and large. It's the shipbuilding city to the Odessa port. That's about two and a half hours from here, from where I'm standing. And in the early days of the war, the battle did rage on, but the Ukrainian side did manage to repulse a Russian attack and eventually get a hold of the city, which is now totally in Ukrainian control. There seems to be some palpable fear, though life does seem to get back to what is seemingly the new normal or normalcy. But if I compare this to where we were yesterday, that is to Kyiv, it won't be wrong to say that this gives a semblance of what is believed to be a ghost town, Katie.
Indeed, a ghost town. That's the situation that you're in just now. And do you feel that leading up to this date, the 24th of February, this 1-year anniversary, it's incredibly visceral for the people there, and there are reports of potentially more violence and escalation from the Russian side? What more do we know about that?
Well, we've been speaking to Ukrainian defense officials on background, and they've been saying that they expect attacks from the Russian side to intensify in the next 24 hours or 12 hours or so. Not far from here, where I'm standing, is the city of Kherson, the Kherson Oblast, where we've been seeing in the past 72 hours there's been heavy or intensified shelling being done from the Russian side, mostly on civilian infrastructure. There have been deaths as well over there, and the Ukrainian side have been cautioning people to remain indoors or be more vigilant at least until the 26th, because they're expecting the intensification of attacks by the Russian side ahead of the completion of their invasion or aggression on Ukraine, that is tomorrow on the 24th, and they believe that this can continue at least until the 26th. Katie?
Anas Malik, thank you so much indeed, our correspondent there from Ukraine in Mykolaiv.